everybody, Angel Arts here, and this is it. This is our analysis of Telltale's The Walking Dead Season 2, Episode 5, the season finale of this awesome game. I'm here once again joined by Carson, Kathleenums, Lucky Jack 20, and Reclusiarch. Just to give a little bit of a brief announcement before we kick this thing off, the plan for today's Let's Talk is that we're just going to be analyzing episode 5 like we normally do, but we are planning on hopefully doing a separate live podcast that you, the viewers at home, are welcome to join us for, where we will be discussing the entire season as a whole and possibly giving some of our thoughts and musings and predictions for season 3. This will be my first time doing anything live, and it'll be a great way for you guys to ask us questions, and we might even have other guests come in just for that video to also share their views, just to give us a little bit of a even more fresh perspectives on what's been going on for this season. Okay, but I'll definitely keep you guys posted on the details of that. So, all right, guys, let's start from the very beginning of this video.
Oh, I don't know how to do this.
Anyone want to start off?
Oh, I want to start off and ask, did Brother
Brother Ralph?
Did Brother Ralph give us any translations for the beginning dialogue of the game?
Unfortunately, he did not. I think MS or MSD TV sent me a few translations, which were mostly just Russian cursing during the fight. So I don't.
That's fine with me.
Yeah, unfortunately, he wasn't able. I'm not. Haven't had any other translations that Arvo has said throughout the episode. But if anyone wants to volunteer, who's watching and is willing, that'd be great for us to put up on our wrap up video. So
yeah, because the translation we got in the last episode helped get the whole picture nominally or whatever the word is.
It's a good question, though.
I think I'm going to start this off. I think I said this in my Let's Play. I don't know if you guys want to correct me on it. I pointed out, how did, they get from right here to there and there to there, and, wait, what's going on? And I'm like, how did he get that guy? Last time I saw it, I had to watch very specifically, that Burrico guy, he didn't have a shotgun. Did they, swap guns, at the last second?
I don't know.
It was the beard.
Yeah, it was the beard.
Yeah, it was the lovely beard.
I think you're not the only one, Carson. Several people have mentioned that they found it a little... it was a bit jarring that nobody on the Clementine group got hurt at all. At least at the beginning, when the scene opens up, everybody's behind trees
cover,
and cover.
As if after several seconds of open fire onto them.
Exactly. That seemed a little odd.
That destroyed my prediction. I was so angry at that.
Yeah.
Kenny's beard caught all the bullets, okay?
Kenny's beard!
like a magnet.
Yes.
You can never hurt the mighty beard. And never let your kids understand that. No.
Anyway, so trying to think of the first thing that goes on.
Clementine falls to the ground.
Falls to the ground. I'm still currently in my mind going, oh crap, I still gotta live with what I just did in episode 4.
Yeah, you have to make one quick decision about the baby, because you see the baby on the ground. You see Alvin Jr. on the ground. Mm-hmm. And I think most people who are not monsters went after the baby.
Wait, I think I know one specifically.
Look, okay, so I'm guessing I'm the only one who didn't go for the baby, and
I think so.
I gave my reasoning. Yeah,
you weren't the only one. There was 11.8%.
Let her eat the baby.
That actually was a poll. That shocked me. That was a poll. It's called selflessness protected the baby. Rounding it up, 84% went for the baby, 16% went for cover.
Okay.
Well, you're not alone, David.
You're not alone.
Well, and I can see the reasoning behind why it would be probably safer to leave the baby there, which is I don't think any Russian would just take a pot shot at this baby lying in the ground. So it was away from all. I'm saying like it was away from all of the gunfire and stuff. And if you were to go to it, it would draw their attention to you and trying to hit you. They might hit the baby.
Exactly.
Well,
I mean,
Okay.
go ahead.
diffuse the situation first, then go for the baby. I mean, I don't think anyone would try and fire on it.
That being said, I did go for the baby. You're still the only one who went for it, Dave. But just saying, looking back at, I can totally justify. I understand your.
I don't think. Well, I don't think that anyone would intentionally fire at the baby. But if you do try to save the baby, you do see that there are stray shots that are hitting around the baby.
I think it's just the recoil shot. Like, when you shoot, the gun's gonna fire in a different direction than what you originally intended.
Yeah,
so it could fire. It could hit the baby because of the recoil itself.
It could hit the baby.
I guess a gunfight is not a very safe place for a baby, but
No. Lessons learned.
yeah.
Yeah.
You never liked children, anyways, David. You just wanted to see that.
Oh, come on! I would never hurt a child.
What I like though about not saving the baby is that Luke ends up shining a bit in that scene, because he ends up himself rescuing Alvin instead, and by doing so, that's how he gets shot in the leg. So again, it goes to show how such a nice guy Luke is.
Yeah. Okay. It's just I have to say that, like, I just loved that everyone's shooting for everyone, and I was like, I just noticed something. Like, there was a baby crying out in the field and bullets are flying. Maybe I should just take the baby and just hide it under like some rock just for a minute or something.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just thinking, like, maybe Kenny could have done that at least, because he like was so attached. Which I dedicate this hat to Kenny.
Can I also just say that Alvin Jr. is the quietest newborn ever. I don't think I ever heard it cry once during that entire episode.
If a newborn's kind of weak, I know my nephews were really quiet when they were born. And one of them was done by epidural, so that's probably why. But if the baby's pretty weak or newborn, they won't be crying that much. Because they sleep most of the time. So.
Yeah.
Well, then I want to say for a fact, I want to say 100% that anyone who's in the medical field and can confirm what Kathleen says, write it in the comments, please. We beg you.
Do a Logan's.
It's doing that thing again. Gosh dang it.
Two of
Logan
them.
twins.
The Logan twins.
Campus. Look at that. You look like a young guy. Look at me, my beard is.
Look at that young, chapping guy who's just
Logan season 1 and me. Okay, how do I get rid of that guy? I don't want that guy anymore.
I think it'll disappear in time.
It's okay. Just it'll go away.
It'll go away.
Just stop staring at it.
Just don't pretend it's not there.
But I just want to point out that I was actually very, I guess you could say I'm very shocked how they started episode 1, and I don't know if anybody can understand what I'm saying. Like, they throw you right in the action, like, you see Clementine fall to the ground, you're like, oh my god, did she get shot and did she die? I didn't think she was going to get shot at all.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, it maybe like she got pushed to the ground, like somebody shoved her down to the ground. But I was just like shocked, like, oh crap, oh my god, you hear that beep sound, which, if from what my friends who were in the army told me, that when you get near shell shock, when you get into a gunfight, you will start to hear that little beep in your ears. Like, it's like Saving Private Ryan moment.
Yeah, of course, Carson, nobody would ever think that Telltale would allow Clementine to get shot. Come on now.
No.
They would not cross that line. They wouldn't cross that.
They're not monsters, right?
I'm not going to let Russians shoot them.
They've done worse.
Go ahead, Kathleen.
They've done worse things in the comics, but I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear it.
So the gunfire, the showdown ends, and the only one standing from the Russian side is Arvo, and everybody else on Clementine's side is fine except for an injured Luke. And then
don't forget an arm shot, Mike.
Mike gets an arm shot, and then Kenny starts wailing on Arvo. I, at that moment, genuinely felt sorry for him. Genuinely. I don't know about everybody else, but
I felt sorry for him. He just lost either the closest thing he had to companions in the immediate area and his sister.
Yeah, just imagine. I don't know how close they were, but just imagine Bonnie losing everyone, and like she's all alone.
Yeah.
I mean, I would be devastated. I felt really sorry for a guy as well.
Then to be then after that to just be almost half beaten to death by someone who blames it all on you.
Yeah. Well, I guess I could say is just I am a little bit. I guess you could say I'm shocked that nobody got hurt on the Luke, Clementine, Kenny team, or they got minor injuries, but everybody on the other team dies. And I wasn't, I guess you could say, shocked that I had to kill Arvo's sister when she turned into a zombie. I wasn't like angry, like, oh, I have no sympathy for you, boom. But I really did feel sorry for him that he lost everyone. I guess you could say close to a family, and well, technically one of his family members did die, but it is kind of hard for the guy, and I felt sorry for him.
Does anyone feel, even in the slightest, that Arvo and his group kind of brought it onto themselves?
Could I go 50-50 on this?
Okay.
I mean, like...
No.
You don't, Kathleen?
No, I mean... Well, okay. I think they were doing something wrong, but at the same time, I don't know. Let me think about it.
Is it?
I mean,
go ahead.
On my end, I don't think they brought. Depending on like choices and things, for me, I don't think they brought on themselves because that was me who took the medicine in episode 4, which made them, which reason why they came after me. But but for the rest of you guys, for the fact that you guys did not take the medicine, I personally think it was them being the antagonizers who started the conflict by going into it. They were the ones who had their weapons drawn before. I believe they had their weapons drawn.
Yeah, they had their weapons.
Our first had our weapons drawn.
Yeah. So basically, they came back to ambush a fully armed group that had taken one gun. At least that's my viewpoint. We took one gun from them.
Took one gun.
They came up to us, pointed their gun at us, and we were fully armed as well.
Yeah.
I mean, that's reckless. I mean, jeopardize all these people for revenge?
I have to agree. I have to agree with David on that.
It wasn't revenge if you didn't take the medicine, so it does seem kind of nonsensical to me. I feel like I wish that they all hadn't died, like that they could have talked it out, because I feel like both of them, everyone was just desperate. Like, I think that I just got desperation from them, and I didn't really think that they were a valid threat. So I feel like kind of bad about saying that they deserved it, but they definitely had, their deaths were a consequence of their poorly made decisions.
And
very well put.
And could I say?
Go ahead, Logan. Go ahead.
Okay. That led to one of the first big disappointments for me. Just not that it was a bad episode, because I love this episode compared to the last one, especially with the variety we learned later. But that one of the major disappointments I had in my predictions was that I was thinking that as a result of this conflict, we might be brought to the Russians' camp. So then you'd be having to have conversations and try and bond with people who may not speak who may not speak the language fully on our end, and I was foreseeing trying to learn about their, kind of like how with the translation of seeing that they were in pretty much the same amount of fear as we were, trying to now learn more about their sides. But the fact that with the conflict and how it ended, it treated this more like just another point on the roadmap, and just right after you're just right back on the path north, as if it didn't have much consequence.
Especially since nobody died on Clementine's side. Yeah.
All you got was just
that was one of my big disappointments. I expected one of them to get seriously injured in the fight, and I stated that in the last podcast. I was very disappointed that nobody did get seriously injured, unless you count a leg shot as a serious injury. But like I said, I was 50-50 on this. I feel sympathy for the group after what we learned through the conversation in Russian. But their intention was very clear. They wanted to get guns, but they didn't want to kill anybody. That's where I felt sympathy for them. But the moment they heard a gunshot and Buriko shot, it was like, no, we know what your intentions are. Your intentions were good, but your end result was bad, which kind of sounds like Kenny in a way.
So, as several people predicted, Jane returns. And go ahead.
I think Yeah, I think you were the one that, except for David, like I know how he feels, and Kathleen. I think you were the one that had the biggest excitement, Hark.
That Jane came back?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I predicted that she would, so it was cool to see that she actually, in style, she returned in style. So.
Yeah, knifed back in the back of somebody's neck. Ugh.
Yeah.
Which her feelings on that did, like, I was intrigued by her response, or considering what I've seen her respond or how I've seen her behave in the last episode, her initial reactions of, telling you what it was like to kill that person.
Right.
And that makes me want to ask Logan a quick question. Do you think then that makes Jane, like everybody else, as human as everybody, despite her trying to come off as like this cold-blooded, tough woman?
I think the whole thing was that in episode 4 she was just extremely pragmatic.
Yeah.
And that she had to be cold and gritty, at least in appearance. Some things. I think more because she felt she had that role to fill.
Yeah.
Because that was the world that, unfortunately, the world sort of demanded that of her to carry that on. But and again, it's not like we ever saw her killing a human being.
Right.
She was killing walkers the whole time. So.
And it's so easy to it would have been so easy for Telltale to just make another badass femme fatale woman with no weaknesses and just kicking ass all over the place. But making this, I think, even in the last episode, we saw more of her. We saw that she was a human.
Yeah.
She had emotions in her background.
Yeah.
And even now, I mean, now when she looks down at this person that she's killed, it was not the emotion I was expecting, but I was really happy she had it.
Yeah. You definitely, both in this episode and the previous episode, you definitely see glimpses of Jane's vulnerability. And I like that a lot, because every time it happens, I get pleasantly surprised by it. So.
Yeah. Kathleen, no comment?
No, I agree. I was just, I agree with what you said. I think you can't really, I get kind of upset when people think that Jane's just another, like, cold-hearted bitch. Like, she's not. That's just what she has to do to survive, And there's so many more risks that she has to face. Like, I mean, I think it would be easy for people to take advantage of her if they see just this, like, skinny girl. But she has to kind of create a presence that deters people, because people are willing to take advantage of, especially women in this type of world.
So Kathleen, do you feel that because Jane is a woman, as a female trying to survive in this apocalyptic situation, that in general women have it harder, like they have to put in more effort than men in order to...
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that's generally how it is in, like, situations like that anyways. Like, I mean, even like the workplace and stuff, you're less likely to get promoted and people are less likely to take you seriously. Especially, because you have this job to survive, and profiling it is ingrained in people, and whether they think that it's a problem or not, a lot of people will not take you seriously. And it's just like getting abused is also a problem for women and children too, especially in this type of world, because it's just something that she has to face. And I think like I think I sometimes can deal with situations too in the same way as just kind of like trying to appear cold, but it gets me. It seems like it gets me through situations. Like I know like the other day I was at a gas station and there was this hobo, like drunk hobo, like yelling at me. He just started screaming at me and he was like, why are you here all alone? Like, why don't you have someone to pick you up? And I'm like, I'm waiting for my friends. And then I just turned around to him and I was like, if you do not stop talking to me, you are going to fucking regret it. I'm going to pepper spray your ass. And I just like went off on him. And, like, the thing is, if I had just stood there and acted like a, kind of scared girl, then he would have just kept going. Yeah. But the fact that I, was, kind of cold and bitter, he took me seriously and he stopped talking to me. So, I think like that's just what you have to do sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's so sad.
That is
I
sad.
mean,
I don't see that as that. I see that as
that
bravery.
sucks.
No, and I'm just saying, like, because I hate that we're in a world where something like that has to be a thing.
Yeah.
Because I frankly don't see women in that sort of situation where they need to do that to, in a sense, prove themselves.
Yeah.
To everyone. I don't support that at all.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I don't support the women doing that because they have to. I don't support the fact that the scenario is there in that position in the first place.
I think guys like us, we're just oblivious to it. Like, it's not something we think about because we don't have that. I don't think we share that mentality. So it's cool that Kathleen's bringing that up because I love how this game is bringing into light a real life situation in society.
Real life scenarios.
It reminds me a lot about. I'm a big Pixar fan. It reminds me of this one character in Ratatouille, the female chef,
Colette,
and she says something like, I have to work twice as hard than any of the men here in the kitchen in order to be taken seriously and to get to where I am. And unfortunately, I think that's true in most cases, and I think it's a shame that's the reality. So, but
what I meant by that is like, I think sometimes like my close friends will get a little scared when I get into that angry mode, like that defensive mode, but you have to get like that sometimes just to like protect yourself, especially if you live in a neighborhood that's like has some more crime. So I think that's kind of how people might respond to Jane, is kind of skeptic about her aggressive or cold side, but I think you got to realize that that's not who she is. I
know it's. Go ahead, Carson.
I was gonna say, I think this episode, or at least the prologue of her, from what we've known her from, let's say, episode 3 to 4, and now to 5, I think this one had shown her more human side than any other episodes, and I'm glad she do that, because I wanted to see her not as this cold, tough, bitter, you gotta do this now or leave this person behind, this kind of person. I wanted to see her actually try and work things out with people and actually show emotion towards people. And they actually did that for me, and I liked that very, very much.
Yeah.
And in addition to that, is the scene just after that when Jane is looking at the group and she decides to stay because of Clementine. And that's like a radical life changer for her. Of course, she's only always been alone.
Yeah.
Except for her sister. And
now it's the big sister, little sister thing.
Yeah, she's sacrificing so much to be with Clementine. I would trust that girl.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I told you it would happen. The Jane Clementine big sister little sister relationship. I knew it was gonna happen.
Yeah. So
what happens.
The group continues traveling.
Luke's having some difficulties walking.
Luke's having issues, and you get to talk to Luke. You talk to Bonnie. You talk to Kenny. So all of that's going on.
I forget if it's Jane or Bonnie that first brings up the fact of how they hate that men are always trying to pull on the whole.
Bonnie.
Oh no, I got this. Bonnie was going to bring it up. Okay. Well, the whole I could be overly manly is like, no, just freaking get help.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I guess you could say I'm glad we're getting some conversation still, instead of just we got to do this, we got to do that, we got to do this, we got to do that. I want some conversation to actually be formed, and I still think the writer to this whole thing, and if anybody still remembers his name, or do they or no?
He was the guy from episode 1, wasn't he?
Nick Brennan.
Yeah.
Brecken, I think his name is. Yeah. I just love how he made this. It's all about conversation, all about forming relationships and everything. I really understood where Luke was coming from when you got to talk to him. He's like, all right, we gotta act tough and everything. Oh, here comes Bonnie. Don't say anything, okay? Don't. Oh, what are you guys talking about? Nothing. And you have that option to say something. I don't know what you got. I have to probably go look back and watch it. I actually wanted to see if he could open himself up to more people, and he scolds you for that or something. I don't know.
Yeah, he does.
I don't know. I mean, I felt like if more people got involved, more people can actually help him out than just one person he can depend on, which is just a little girl. It's very controversial in that view, at least.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let this little girl I'm gonna let this little girl be my shield and my armor. I'll hope she'll be taking care of me.
I think Luke just strikes me as a kind of person who he sees himself wanting to take care of other people, and he doesn't like to burden other people to take care of him, and that might be why he prefers to only keep his personal issues to either himself or people that he's particularly close with, like Clementine. So I think that might be the reason why he got a little upset.
Yeah. I feel like that. It's just that I think Luke just is completely Clementine has won completely Luke's trust over, and not only because she's the protagonist, but it's because he's actually formed a very close relationship. Out of everyone else that he knows,
Luke's the big brother. Jane's the big sister. Luke's the big brother.
Yeah, and somebody made a joke on that, saying that when Luke and Jane did it together, oh God, incest. I was like, shut. You don't need to bring that up. Shut up. This is emotional and spiritual, not whatever you were thinking of. Oh God.
Yeah. I was gonna agree. Sorry.
Go ahead.
No.
I was just gonna agree that I like there was more conversations in this episode. I think we've all said that we wanted more of that.
Yeah.
So I was really glad to see that, and I really liked, especially the scene where they're all like kind of around
The fire.
in a circle. Yeah. Was there a fire? I
There was a fire.
Okay.
Yep.
But yeah, during that scene and the scene as well, and I know that I said that I pretty much declined in how I liked each episode, apparently, as Logan pointed out. But actually, I liked this episode. The first episode's my favorite, but I think this is my second favorite.
Gotcha.
I really liked this episode. So
Yeah.
Let's
We'll get to mine later.
Yeah.
But I want to get to Kenny's eye, which I have been waiting for so long.
Oh, Kenny, when you're disinfecting it.
Yeah.
I was when I saw that they finally showed that off, I was like, oh, Carson's gonna be happy about that.
I was like, oh, I get to finally see his eye. I get to finally see his eye. Yay!
Carson has this unhealthy eyeball fetish. Forgive him. Just forgive him, everybody.
Just tolerance is key. Dude.
You know, I love eyeballs.
Yes. Anyway.
Oh my God.
Weird.
I'm trying to think.
David's like, that just happened.
Sorry, Dave.
Okay.
Trying to think.
Go ahead, Logan,
Well,
go ahead.
was it something before the campfire scene?
Yeah, it was.
Logan?
You can see.
You can clean his eye or whatever because
Yeah.
Bonnie, he won't react to Bonnie, and
Yeah, it's just that I felt that thing was very, I guess you could say, symbolic. Like, you get to remove you get to clean Kenny's wounds, and I'm hoping you could say emotionally, too, like you're cleaning some of the blood out, and kind of like acting like a big mom to him. He's like, this is going to burn a little. He's like, yeah, I already know that, and he actually takes it like a little child and gets hurt, and
I said, I said, no, this is gonna hurt like hell. I'm sorry. So I was like,
don't give full info and then just say, oh, it's gonna hurt.
I'm not
a
gonna
little bit.
sugarcoat it for him.
Yeah.
How in the world?
And they have several of these small talks with Kenny to bond with him. And we all know why.
We know why.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's the same thing with the fireplace discussion, because we needed to have this. I think Hawk said it. We need to have this actually like last episode, I think. But it needed to be up to, to get to know the characters better, so that the consequences of your actions later on will have more effect. And I think, just when I'm thinking back, I watched Hawk's LP of this, and I think you can explain if you want, Hawk, about you wanting to see this actually. I think it was you.
Yeah,
I want to see this earlier.
Yeah, I mentioned that this is conversation. That scene was something that should have been sprinkled more generously throughout the entire season, not just the last episode. And again, just to not repeat what other people have saying, it's a double-edged sword getting that, because stuff's gonna hit the fan in like the rest of the episode, because you're having this warm and personable moment with all of these different characters. Luke expresses that it's his birthday, and we all know why the writers did that. talking about his birthday and death day and almost succession, and like almost like succession. So, yeah.
But it's just that I see. I think this is. I think you can. One of you guys can correct me. This is when they give Alvin Jr. his name, right? Like when they give the baby its name finally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
When he's cleaning your wound. Yeah. I knew it was that scene. I thought that was, I guess you could say, continuing Rebecca and Alvin's legacy, like carrying on their
to
names.
commemorate, to at least remember them.
Yeah, commemorate. Thank you, Logan. Thank you. But I guess that was very. It was very I guess I don't know if I want to say symbolic, but it was very heartwarming to see that. Okay, well, we're gonna still remember Alvin and Rebecca in their own way. That's really, I guess it's warming that you can bond in a weird way. You're bonding with the baby by just giving it a name.
I think part of that also is because Telltale has confirmed that biologically it's Carver's child biologically. That by giving the baby Alvin's name, you're basically Kenny was saying
it's like an act of defiance.
Yeah, basically as defiance, saying, okay, this might biologically be Carver's, but at the end of the day, ultimately, this is Alvin's son. Ultimately, so Alvin and Rebecca's son. So.
Oh, no doubt it's going to be Rebecca's son.
Well, yes, but you know what I mean.
But it could. Remember, it still could be my kid. Just saying,
or Carson's kid. There's always that.
Logan, we're never gonna let go.
Like
of
I
that.
said, defiance.
One mistake. One mistake is all.
Any other comments on the entire campfire scene?
That was I already told you, Hark, but that was to me was like the big moment where I actually chuckled and laughed a bit, because I hadn't had a good funny moment then when they were talking about Luke and
kissy time, kissy stuff.
That, oh my gosh.
Yes, exactly.
I love that. You're talking about kissing, huh? Yes, kissing.
Yes, exactly.
Was there any kissing?
There was enough time for kissing.
She
That was
was kissing stuff, which is implying other things too. It's just a mystery.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still a mystery. She'll learn when she gets older. Just saying. But
It was fine to have that moment in there.
when it came to the campfire thing, I think Hark, you've watched it, so you know how I felt about that.
Yeah.
I was very happy that it happened. And then I was like, oh, I feel so terrible for Arvo. I wish they had at least a little fire for him, which I felt. I think we all tried. I went out to him, tried to talk to him. He's like, hey man, I don't want to turn. I was like, okay, all right. I hope somebody would translate what he said in Russian though.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like he said in Russian, then he repeated in English maybe.
Oh,
Possibly.
May have been what happened. I don't know.
We'll have to find out if somebody comments in the bottom in the boxes. But I think me and David had our moment. We were so happy that Bonnie confirmed that Luke and her had a relationship. I was like, I knew it. I gave it away.
I mean, Luke and Bonnie would be an awesome couple.
Sorry, Hark, we're pushing you out of the way. It's not Luke and Jane or Hark and Luke. It is Bonnie and Luke.
It's Luke or whatever.
Yeah, it's Baluke.
Baluke.
It's
Baluke.
Baluke.
Yeah, Baluke.
Both Mike and Bonnie actually grew very much for me on that scene. And Mike's just such a genuinely nice person almost throughout.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And when they make you go and get Jane and Kenny to join the group, I thought it was extraordinarily funny when you try to get Bonnie. No, not Bonnie. When you try to get Jane to join you, you're gonna bribe her with booze.
Yeah.
I love that. That was so funny.
I wish I could have I wish I could have spoken to Jane more than just offer booze or offer the rum or whatever. Because I was able to talk with Kenny and I had a really nice bonding moment and got him to go to the fire at least for a bit. But I wanted to talk to Jane, but it just said, "Oh, give one." I was like, "Oh, yeah, okay, that's it."
That actually warmed me up a lot with the you and Kenny conversation because I really got to see a sad Kenny. Like he's really sad deep down inside. It really hit me hard and I felt sorry for the guy. I mean, I couldn't hate him, nor could I show any sympathy towards him. I was like, you did some bad stuff in the past. We already know that. But when we see you would give your life almost just to spend 1 second with your family, oh, that just tore me up. And he was talking about Duck. That's what tore me up even more when he mentions Duck.
I have a question. Did anyone else give Clementine a drink?
I didn't.
No.
Did
Did
I
you,
mean,
did
some
you have a
proper
drink?
apocalypse.
Yeah, I gave
One small
Clementine.
drink, one.
David did. I know David did. You're terrible, David. You're terrible.
What would she do? Like pass out drunk from one sip?
Yeah, she was. Honestly, I gave her a sip because if she tries it while she's young, she'll never want to do it again. 'Cause she'll be like, "Oh, this is disgusting." Because I know, like, my mom, her mother smoked, and so her mother was like, "Hey, do you want to try one? Do you want to try a cigarette?" So my mom tried a cigarette at like 7, and then she never wanted to try a cigarette ever again. So she doesn't smoke.
Your mom was a brave woman.
Yep.
Yeah, I never got a taste for alcohol at all, like even to this day, because, I don't know, my parents had me try. I didn't even ask for it. They just offered some beer, and I just hated it. So to this day, I'm not a fan of beer, and alcohol in general, I don't really have a taste for it. So
you didn't
They
offer
were drinking.
Rum.
They were drinking straight rum.
yeah.
Ugh.
Did you?
Like,
That I've tried it. I had to do it with rum and Coke. It's better.
I
when
mean,
you
I've done shots of rum before, but like just like one, like not like you
I've tried
have
it.
a chaser afterwards, you know? Like that's so gross.
That drink is tough.
For everyone currently listening, I'm the one virgin at like 20 years old when it comes to alcohol, so I have no idea what the hell is going on right now with everyone's dialogue right now. But I would say that on my 21st birthday, when that comes in about 11 months,
Yay!
for all of you grown-ups, old people in this call with me,
Hey, what are you trying to
Oh,
say?
really?
that freaking when
Hit
I
us in the
get a
balls
taste,
like
that
that.
I will. Well, you guys are all poison. Never mind. I'm getting.
When you guys get
is-
beards, try whiskey. It's awesome.
No.
No.
What's it?
Don't listen to David, people. Start
Look-
with tequila.
look-
That's easy.
Let
That's
Logan
straight
finish his.
beer, like
So-
normal.
Go ahead,
Let-
Logan.
Go ahead,
On my
Logan. Let Logan
on my
finish.
So on my own personal note, on my 21st birthday, I'm probably gonna try some alcohol, but I can already see it's probably not gonna be for me. Like not like maybe like at like special holidays or family or like big like family get together things maybe, but not like something I would have more than once every couple months.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying is with me.
for me, Logan, I when I turned 21, I actually had my first drink. At me personally, I was like, I didn't miss much. I wasn't missing anything, and yeah, and that was it.
And so for me, I didn't give her the drink not because I was like, oh my gosh, no, she's young. It's like because I was saying it's apocalypse doesn't matter. But me, it was like I have no idea what Telltale's gonna do. For all I know, there could be another ambush, and all of a sudden I'd be somewhat. They might do something where like the screen's a bit blurrier or something if I had the drink, or I don't know, something like that. And I just didn't want to take the chance.
But wait, hold on a second. You guys have 21 years. You have to be 21 years to drink alcohol in.
Legally over here.
Yeah.
Legally in the U.S. Right.
We have
Yeah,
I love that David.
It's-
It's 18.
it's
you-
18 in many places.
It's
Yeah,
18 minutes. I know some places where it's just.
Europe and Asia. And
I know
Mexico.
some places in Europe where if you're able to reach up to the bar, they'll give you a drink.
Wow. Well,
Americans.
my cousins would definitely like that offer.
So,
But
no,
yeah,
just- so
but-
it's 21 over here, and
But I just want to ask everybody else's opinion. Whose, I guess you could say, story tore you up inside more? Was it the Kenny story or the Jane story? Like when you tried to get him to join the fire.
I think that the Kenny story was more emotional for me because I knew what he was talking about. I knew the people he was talking about. I've been there, experienced it. And I think the Jane story was more like a background story, more filler, get to know her better. But emotionally, I totally say Kenny.
yeah.
Yeah, it's just I feel sorry for Jane because she said she ate glass. I was like, ooh, that, ugh.
that was
I-
not good.
Yeah,
I agree that I definitely felt more emotion with Kenny, and I liked that when you're talking to him, he outright apologizes for everything that he put Clementine through ever since they reunited, which I thought was really nice. I definitely gave Kenny credit for admitting and recognizing that there are some things that he probably could have done differently.
Go ahead, Kathleen.
The Russian story made me the saddest.
The Russian story? Is that an option? We're gonna have to talk
What's his
about
name again?
Arvo. I did
Arvo.
I did genuinely feel
Oh my god,
bad for Arvo.
it's so sad.
Yeah, I did feel bad for him.
I guess you could say I was torn up with Kenny's story more because he talks about missing his family the most, and he would do everything. And I'm pretty sure he misses also
Sarita.
Yeah, I was getting to that. But it's just that when he looks at Alvin Jr., he looks and he says, I'm going to raise this one kid right. I didn't raise Duck right, but I'm going to make sure this kid is raised right. I was like...
Mm-hmm.
So he admits he was a terrible father, but now he's going to be a serious father. That's...
I felt bad at that point because in my mind I was seeing this as just similar to what Recluse Dave was talking about in the last episode with how Kenny's mind works, is this was just going to become a vicious cycle of just rage, apathetic, pity or whatever, then more rage. That's just how it was working with him from, day one.
Yeah, I don't know. We didn't talk about that scene where he's yelling at Arvo and saying, "Hey, why aren't you speaking English?"
Punching and
that happens later.
Punching him.
Yeah.
I called it. I was like, "Stop it!" Okay, he understands. Or
Yeah,
to,
that was just
I was
beyond ridiculous.
I saw you get frustrated at that, Kathleen. It was entertaining to watch.
I mean, it's like kicking a puppy that's laying down. I mean, you can see that he doesn't stop. Yeah, he doesn't stop when he's asked to stop because he's in his own thoughts about losing everyone. And then he gets pushed down, let's get beaten. I mean, where's your empathy, Kenny?
At that point,
it's Carver all over again.
At that point, I see Kenny as doing nothing more but just stress relief.
Yeah.
Where he's just trying to get rid of pent-up aggression on the closest thing to a scapegoat he has, and that's Arvo to him.
Yeah.
Are we gonna get to the part where they're gonna walk on ice?
Yeah, I think that scene is after the campfire.
Do we really have to go to that part?
To do that.
Can we skip it? Can we just skip that part?
I saw your reaction, Hog.
No, because I already heard you. Because you already told me a bit of what you thought of that whole scenario, Hark, a couple days ago. So I want to hear it in more full here. So yeah, we gotta do it.
Yeah, we have to do it.
Well, I mean, I don't have to go first, so you guys can talk about the ice.
So
I guess I'll go first.
Okay, you go first.
All right. Well, we get to the ice, we see the house and the frozen lake, and I was like, "We're gonna have to walk through that. Can we find another way?" And they're like, "Nope, no other way. I'm gonna walk right to it." I was like, "Okay."
I was like, "Can we go around any other way? Any other
around? Yeah.
Am I the only one who's seeing this as a stupid idea? Nope, that's the only way across." So I was thinking, was it a river or was it a lake?
It was a lake.
Yeah, I think it was.
Okay, because that was the only thing that would have excused that was if it was a river. It's a lake. Screw them. It's like, no, we go around. God.
I hated that too. I was like, well, what? I'd rather take an hour or two longer walk to get to the other side than just risk this. Because I've seen, and I'm going to feel a little childish here, I've seen so many cartoons, I've seen all these movies. Well, I know when you walk on ice, it is bad news. And I actually play a game with my buddies at the snow club. We play broomball where we have to walk with our shoes, no skates or anything. It's hard to walk on that.
Yeah.
And I was a little worried, so when we start just walking on that just freaked me out the most because I was thinking, when's this ice gonna break?
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think I saw your reaction, David. You were like, "Okay, everybody, let's walk slowly."
Yeah.
Right out, all in one spot. I agree with that.
Yeah, and the Russians have probably done it several times, so I'm like, okay, we can do this. It's just ice.
You were eager. You were like, "No big deal. Let's do it."
Yeah.
Maybe not eager. Maybe eager is not the right word. Maybe just
anxious. Let's get it over with.
Whatever the word is that says, let's get this done and over with as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were motivated to get it done.
As soon as I walked on that ice, I was like, we are going to get attacked by zombie dolphins.
Yes.
Zombie dolphins.
We got attacked by zombie dolphins.
Somebody
We
make a
did get
concept
attacked.
Yeah.
Somebody make a concept of zombie dolphins. I want to see it happen.
I was thinking we were gonna get shot at. I was thinking,
Yeah.
just seeing the first crack, like just hearing that shuffling on ice, I was like, this is so sketchy.
I was
So-
freaking out for that first crack. I was going. Oh.
So
Okay. No problem.
I saw some zombies. I saw some walkers behind us. I was like, okay, they're walking slowly, so nothing too bad to worry about yet.
And then Arvo freaks out.
Yeah, Arvo freaks out.
Did he freak out or did he just try to get away from the group? I couldn't really
I think he just bolted at some point.
Yeah. He had enough. Like, screw this. I'm going.
Yeah, I mean,
So like, are we like gonna take our own personal vote? Did he get scared and run from the zombies, or did he bolt from the group?
I think he saw the zombies as an opportunity to ditch in the chaos.
yeah.
So bolt the
Yeah.
group. I'm keeping count.
That's it. That's the
What do
poll.
you think,
I
David?
think it was a combination. Sorry, I think it was a combination of the two.
Half a vote.
Yeah.
He just bolted, you know. Let's get out of here.
Okay. I think he probably bolted because from what I saw in his eyes, he's like, okay, this is my chance. Little zombies, gotta get away. Get away. So we all probably agree he just bolted from the group and wanted to get away from them. Or specifically Kenny. And I don't know. I told him to stop and not hurt him.
Yeah.
And then we get to Angel Arch's most heartbreaking thing ever.
Yes, my favorite part of the whole episode. Yes. Oh.
Heartbreaking moment. I saw his face. He was like, your face lit up. I love that part in the video. I know that sounds terrible.
As soon as I saw the crack underneath Luke, I knew I knew, okay, he's gonna die. This is it. And I just was in denial. And I was like, maybe there's a way to save him, maybe. But what really ticked me off the most was not his death, but the fact that later on, if you choose to cover him versus walking over towards him, which, by the way, I don't like how they worded that poll at the end, because I think covering him still counts as helping him, especially since he thought that was the best way to figure things out. Never mind the fact that it actually would be safer if you crossed the ice on all fours, because you're actually spreading your weight out in a larger surface area, as opposed to having it all focus on your feet, in which case you would be more likely to fall through the ice. But anyway, ignoring that, science people,
Okay.
ignoring all of that, what I don't like is that if you cover him, Bonnie blames you for Luke's
What's about
death.
to happen?
Yeah, she blames you for Luke's death, even though technically she was the one who caused Luke's death in that situation, since
Yeah,
she went
I noticed.
to go towards him while I was covering Luke, and lo and behold, she gets close to him and the ice breaks underneath them and they fall, and Luke ends up not only in that scenario, not only drowning, but drowning
with a broken leg.
right after.
I have a
Done
theory
with it.
though. We didn't see him drowned. Just saying.
That's
Okay.
yeah.
What
saw
I think
him.
is gonna happen. Okay,
we
listen.
saw him drown.
I saw him.
Listen. Okay, remember what happened with Kenny? What's gonna happen with Luke
Alright,
is
here
that
we go.
he is gonna be frozen in the ice, and then when summer
Preserved
comes,
cryogenically.
he will unthaw
Preserved.
and find Clementine.
He'll
He's gonna be
year-
like frozen.
year-
Oh!
In the year 2030.
he'll pull
Yes.
a Captain America. He'll pull a Captain America. Yes.
pretty much.
Captain America.
But
Who
Hawk,
knows?
actually, a small tidbit about this Bonnie thing. She's upset with Clementine because she blames Clementine.
Yeah, she does. Which is
yeah,
different. Which is totally different attitude that she would end up having if you had walked towards. Yeah.
I think what she means is, as this is happening, as Luke is falling into the water, she tells Clementine to move forward to help him, because
Right.
of course she's lighter. So when Clementine isn't doing that, she feels forced to go help him. And I think she believes that if Clementine would have taken her suggestion and moved up and helped him, they would be alive. And that's why she thinks that it's Clementine's fault. Not that she fell in, but because she could have helped him, even if she couldn't. I think.
Well,
But
you
I
guys.
see your viewpoint as well, but mine's correct, so.
Well, I'm gonna. Okay. Okay.
End of
All
discussion.
right. Um. Next, the poll result was this, and I thought this was the best poll I've seen in probably years. Went to help Luke. This was the closest poll I've ever seen. Tried to help Luke. 49% said tried to help Luke, and 51% did not try to help Luke.
And I still say I tried to help him. I still
I
tried to
love
help
how
him.
they do
You
that.
monster hawk, leave him behind like that. I fucking like
Because you
him.
knew that. I thought you loved him.
Yeah. Let's run
Terrible
for
person.
it. Leave him.
So I remember, cause I remember I went nuts. I shot the ice, broke it, and then
He drowned anyways.
and that's what I'm saying. I know for a fact he's not, because Kenny was like he was obscured by things in season 1. I was literally like inches from his face and saw that it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like, like that or something
Yeah.
like that. But I guess I could say I tried to help Luke, and my theory is, and I don't know if anyone wants to back with me, and I'll actually point out something. My theory was I wanted to see if, since Clementine weighs very, very little,
Yeah.
then compared to Bonnie
Right.
or Luke, I thought maybe I should go and try and help him. Originally, I thought, okay, maybe we can all just cover him. It'd be a good idea, but I was like convinced Bonnie was going to go help no matter what. So I said, okay, I might as well just go help Luke, because I feel like if I weigh less, the ice will crack slowly still.
Yeah.
Pull him out and get out of there. But when it cracked, I was freaking out like a little girl because she fell into what I thought was ice cold water.
Yeah.
But apparently somebody from Finland pointed this out to me. I think possibly the theory might be wrong, that the water is actually warm, but when you get out of the water, that cold air will blow onto you and make you freeze to death. And I was like, wait, what? Huh?
Well, if the water is going to be still water and not ice, it can't, it can't be too cold, otherwise it would be ice. So it's warm enough so that it's still in liquid form. But once you get out on the surface, that's why the ice... Right, that's why
Today
it's
with
ice...
Science with Hawk.
Right, that's why it's ice on the surface, because it's colder on the surface.
It depends on what your perception of cold is.
Yeah, it depends on your perception of cold. It's still cold.
I mean, I would think it was cold.
Yeah,
but...
it's still gonna be
this
cold.
person is from Finland. Okay, don't hate me. Don't hate me.
Actually, I think the most dangerous thing is that when you are submerged in cold water, your breath leaves your body really quick.
Yeah.
Because you're shocked, and people actually drown.
Yeah.
Just being a few seconds underwater in cold water.
Yeah.
When I fell into that water, knocking off the zombie, I was like, okay, I'm okay. Oh, there's the zombie. I thought it cracked his neck or at least killed it, and then it grabs him and drags him into that darkness in there, and I was like, no!
And-
I knew my prediction was right for Luke to die this episode, but I didn't want him to die
And
like
Carson,
this.
you brought up a good point, and several people were asking why Luke didn't just pull out his machete and just start hacking at it. But I think David also has a good point that when your body's in shock and you're not thinking straight, so it's very possible that it just didn't cross his mind at that moment to pull out his machete and.
I don't think it would have crossed his mind at all
Yeah.
in that scenario.
And I know, I do know for a fact that at least for you, Angel Arts, it's not that he died in this episode. It's he died so brushed under the rug,
Yeah.
like. And
Would that darkness be that rug then? Like
no,
if you
just in the sense of it's almost felt like he just died like any other NPC would have, and he didn't have, like, they treat it as if he didn't have all the impact of 4 episodes leading up to now.
Yeah,
But is that a bad thing, though?
I don't think it's a bad thing.
I think it's unrealistic.
I think it's an ungraceful.
I think it's unrealistic because I understand if Clementine, when like someone like Carlos died, Clementine didn't have that connection with Carlos like she did with Luke, or like she did with Lee, or like she did with Kenny. And when Carlos died, of course she was upset, but you don't have to spend that much time with her, thinking about and dwelling on Carlos's death. With Luke, it happened, and then that was it. And Clementine never really seemed to have a chance to really let it sink in and absorb it. Like, I think the players would like to. But the other thing that I thought was interesting is that it just seemed like the entire season as a whole was leading up to a choice between Kenny and Luke, not Kenny and Jane. So I was kind of shocked that
I actually want to give some hope to Hark on this. I actually read up on something. It actually, the original intention is that you could actually save Luke instead. And I was like, Oh, I wonder how Hark would have reacted to this news.
It hurts you.
I think they should have done that because we had more background with
Yeah.
Luke.
Look,
you
yeah.
know, and it would have been a harder decision.
It would have
for a
been
lot of people
harder.
to make.
Yes, I think it would have. What Carson was saying, somebody found a sound file, I think from the game, or somewhere, that had Luke's voice actor panting as if he had just been pulled out of the water, out of the ice. So I think the reason, though, why they ended up not having him be rescuable is because if you threw him in the same situation at the end of the episode as Jane and Kenny, it would be a bit out of character of Luke to suddenly try to, I don't know, go after Kenny and try to kill him. I think it's more believable for Jane to do that than for Luke to do that. So
I think I have to absolutely respect Nick Brecken, the writer, for making that call. Like, you know what, we got to scrap that idea. And I know that's very hard for you to accept, Hark, that Luke died right there like that. I expected him to get eaten by zombies, for the record. Okay, I didn't expect him to drown like that. Which, sorry, Kathleen, he did drown. But I'm still curious. Like I can tell.
I'm still saying I was right about Kenny, so
It ain't happening, all right. It ain't happening. He's not gonna be frozen, and we're gonna find him 10 years later, like frozen, like as a dead corpse or something.
I seem to remember us disagreeing about whether or not Kenny was dead,
That's
and
true.
I was right.
Season 3, I am gonna stop. If I see Luke appear in season 3, I'm gonna have a heart attack.
If I see Luke and Kenny walking around, I'm gonna be like, no. Nope.
My last words will be, Kathleen, you were right. Carson, you were wrong.
Okay, but for what I'm saying though, it's I guess you could say right when she gets pulled out of the water and you could see her. I think it was like G-U-U, like get Luke. I was like, I think she was trying to say like get Luke.
Yeah.
And I was like, that just makes his death even harder to try and get him. Like, I don't know what. I know Hark was to cover for him. What was Kathleen and Logan's choice? What did you guys do?
For which bit?
I ran for him.
You went for
Oh,
it.
yeah,
You went for him?
Yeah.
For Luke.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went for him immediately. I was like, no, do not. And it was hard. And my heart was already like in my throat or whatever when I see him through the ice, trying to bang through to the surface, and I was just going nuts. First, I hesitated with the gun because I thought they were going to try and pull some crap where, Bonnie's underwater too, and shooting it, you shoot her under the water, but you didn't see her, or some crap like that. But I was like, you know what? No, shoot the ice anyway. Then broke the ice, and unfortunately I was too late.
Oh, so you covered him?
No, I covered him, yes.
He covered him, yes.
Oh, that's what I'm asking. Did you go to help him, or did you go risk
sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I thought you meant help as in when he was on the ice. No, I covered him
Yeah.
because I trusted his judgment far more than Bonnie's.
Yes.
Because Bonnie was almost, especially after learning at the campfire scene that she did have a thing for him.
Yeah.
She was acting purely out of emotion and not thinking clearly at all.
Yeah.
Well, actually,
Uh-oh.
he was thinking more clearly than many others because, again, as I said before, the chances of Clementine pulling him out is far greater than I hear telephone.
Then Bond.
Yeah. Dave, Dave, you're one who in a couple episodes likened her to you pegged her as the traitor.
Yeah.
The traitor.
The black guy and all of a sudden you're.
But
Which
everyone
funny
can
thing about that later.
We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to the traitor and the black guy again.
Yeah. Oh. True, actually. Oh, I didn't think of that.
Mhm.
But I also like to point out that if you go under while trying to save Luke,
Luke,
Jane risks her own life to grab Clementine,
Yeah.
and that's the second time. She's awesome.
Yeah.
You just have a thing for Jane, don't you? This is
I
short
mean,
hair.
she's maybe.
Bang bang. Okay, but are we gonna get to the house where everyone's like, rush, get her in there, get her in there,
Yeah.
get her in there?
So we finally get to the cabin. And then there's all this confusion. People are trying to get Clementine warm, Bonnie warm if she fell into the water. And then Kenny flips out again because he thinks that Arvo lied to them. So smacks him around with Jane showing supplies showing that Arvo didn't actually lie.
Arvo snaps back and I was like, whoa.
He was like, fuck you.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing, because that's the exact thing Kenny said to Carver. Like, he stood up for himself, like, something, I think it was something like that.
So you drew like
and Arvo's like, I had enough of this.
He did a Kenny moment.
I'm not getting bullied around anymore.
Yeah.
And he gets a beating.
Yeah.
Just like Kenny got.
That is interesting.
I wouldn't be surprised if Arvo lost his eye. You know, just saying. And then he goes and offs some beard out.
I don't know. I might as well say this now.
Go for it.
Kenny, I think he seriously snapped in this episode.
Yeah.
Mentally. I mean,
turned
it
into a
happened
Carver?
before, but it's just
a cycle. It happens all the time. So all of a sudden, like I
said in my playthrough, like I know people with bipolar disorder that have less mood swings than he does. Like
I think I could even say he snapped in the last episode, not even this episode. Like it's already still.
I mean, he's got to have something wrong with his brain, because like that is not normal. People don't make those types of irrational emotional like bursts. Like he just totally goes on these rants and doesn't have any logic. He's just completely driven by whatever he feels at the moment.
It was really interesting watching your playthrough during those moments, Kathleen, because I could feel the disappointment, because I knew you wanted so bad to root for Kenny this episode, but he just disappointed you so many times, and I feel like, oh, I feel so bad for Kathleen.
Yeah.
I made a comment about that, but we'll get to it later.
Yeah, I mean, I know, like, I feel like it seems like I was harsher on him than most people, but I think you summed it up great, Hark. Like, I was just really disappointed, you know? I just wanted to root for him because I thought he was getting better, and I really like his character, but I just felt like he was continuing to go downhill. And I think that's also a matter of, like, what you're willing to put up with, because for me, anger is just the most frustrating thing. Like, I can't stand when people deal with situations with anger and, like, yelling at people. I just can't stand it. Like, I hate anger. So I think that's maybe...
I know, you do. I mean, you didn't feel my anger when it happened in episode 2 podcast, you know, and just saying.
Well,
we'll
remember it again when Luke comes back in episode 3.
You mean season 3?
Season 3, yes.
Yeah.
Angel Arts will just go back. Yes. Angel Arts will just go back to episode 3 and just relive his favorite Luke moments.
Yeah, but I guess you could say I can blame Kenny for just using somebody as a scapegoat, because when you have a specific hatred towards somebody who, I guess you could say, caused this whole event, caused this gunfight, was the issue of why this happened, you could use that person as a scapegoat. Like, I'm just using this as an example. I know Logan would never do this to me, I hope. Like, Logan would steal from me, like, medical equipment that I actually need in order to save me, and then I would use him as a scapegoat because we're trying to survive and hang out together. But,
he'll send his gang after me to gun me down.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
But he's just using somebody as a scapegoat so he can take his anger out on that person. Like, when we looked at, and I hope I'm allowed to say this, back in season 1, Kenny just did the same thing to Ben. He used him as a scapegoat to why this happened.
Yep.
Pretty much.
Yep.
So I just saw this as the same scenario.
I can see that, because, like, again, trying to go back to season 1, is I remember that, whereas, like, there'd be things where he'd be with us and everything would be fine, but then the minute anything went, when anything went bad, he would immediately turn to Ben as if it was all his fault, even if Ben was not even near the bad thing that happened.
Right.
He just looked at way too big of the picture of how they got there, and
Of course, that's my opinion, as it is.
So,
Yeah, but
so,
I guess you could say I can blame Kenny for just using somebody as a scapegoat because when you have a specific hatred towards somebody who, I guess you could say, caused this whole event, caused this gunfight, was the issue that of why this happened. You could use that person as a scapegoat.
I
So moving on, we get
The nail file.
yeah, they light a fire, they try to settle down as much as they can, and then you have a talk with Jane, and while you're having the talk with Jane, Kenny finds a truck and he's trying to get the truck started. So
I just found that amazing that they had a truck out there, and I'm thinking, just out of curiosity, if these Russians had been hanging out here, how come they never got the truck working?
Because they weren't Kenny.
yeah, they didn't have
Because
the
they
beard.
were Kenny.
They didn't have the
They
beard.
didn't have the beard. Are we gonna see you grow the beard out again, Kathleen? Just saying.
Yeah. Yep.
But just and again, it could just be anything down to they probably didn't see the truck as a big resource thing, whereas someone with Kenny's mindset would just cling on to that and use whatever he could to get. It's just like the thing where it's like, I guess.
It's like the boat in episode 4 of season 1.
Yes.
The boat.
Yes.
The people in the house didn't see the boat as like a huge, like, desperate thing, but Kenny clung on to that or whatever. Or it could just be that they just don't have good automotive skills like Kenny.
Yeah, I mean, it could be like me. Like they open up and it's like, okay, that's an engine.
Yeah.
And okay, that's it.
Oh yeah.
So
it doesn't start. Okay, well this one's dead.
Okay, so let's close it and forget about
Yeah.
it.
That chapter's done.
That's the end of the secret episode 6. You see, you're trying to fix the truck.
Bonnie offers you a
Boom.
Bonnie offers you a joint, or a cigarette rather. But
Yeah.
cigarette.
Okay. I was gonna say, is there any DLC plan for season 2, or is that it?
Not that we're aware of.
Yeah. Who knows? I wouldn't be surprised. Who knows?
How are people fighting cigarettes?
I think they're like
That's a good
Are they
destroying.
making their own? Are they making their own, like finding tobacco and making their own? Like,
It's the East Coast. I don't
cause
know.
I'm pretty sure they'd be stale and gross, but I don't know. I don't really smoke, so.
Yeah.
But I think it's I don't know if anyone noticed this or it was just me, but I felt like when you had that conversation with Jane, I felt like when she was this is probably before. I don't know if she did mention like she was trying to. I felt like she was just sowing dissent on Kenny, but I did feel her like in the first conversation. You're like, wow, she actually did care about Luke. That actually makes it harder for her because you could say she was so-called in a relationship with Luke, even though we don't see any clear signs they really were. But she really took it hard, and you think, wow, that she actually did care about him.
I think you can argue that she cared, as far as she's concerned, she cared about him too much, because as soon as Luke was out of the picture and died, she wanted out.
Nothing
She
to
was
do.
like, I thought I could handle this, but I don't think I can do this, and she actually thought about leaving again, because I think part of the reason why she prefers to be by herself is because she doesn't have to deal with loss. Like, she doesn't have to grow close to people, because as soon as she grows close to people, they're gonna die, and she just doesn't want to deal with that. And I think that's a very valid point.
Was it because of the kissing time they had together?
The kissy stuff? Yeah.
Yeah. Is that why she took it too hard? Oh, no more kissy time with someone.
But trying to think.
Just saying.
Trying to think
I
of
guess,
what's
and
going on.
I enjoy. I think we mentioned this earlier a little bit. I enjoy how vastly different the discussions with Bonnie is
Yes.
if you go after Luke or not go after Luke.
Yes, very
because if
different.
you don't go after Luke, she's not very likable at all.
No.
She blames Clementine, and she's like really
Oh,
rough.
oh no,
but
I'm
if
kind
you do help her, it's like this very nice bonding moment.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I met you. Check for weapons.
Yeah.
No, but just,
I saw that. I was like, that's the moment me and David shared a moment. We
Yeah.
said check her for weapons.
I was like, no, I got pissed at her because I got the part of her where she was just being completely snivy and just a
Yeah, I can
just
understand that.
for no
You can
for-
say it. She was being a complete bitch.
I was gonna say brat, but okay.
Okay.
I'm not one to
Sorry,
press
Kathleen.
hard, but No, what really got to me the most in that entire conversation, I'm to the point where I'm just gonna cut it together. I don't care if it breaks flow a bit of the video, is when she says, when she's saying, you're just a little girl, no one expects anything of you. I'm just gonna cut in every moment where someone said, Clementine, you should go do it, and to be like, excuse me. At least 8 of those times was you telling me to do something. What the heck? Well, I got mad. I was like, are you serious?
Kenny told Clementine almost the same thing the previous episode. You're just a little girl, like, blah, blah, blah. And...
Here, Clem, put your life in danger and get this stuff for us.
Yeah. But it just hurt so much more to hear from Bonnie, because Kenny wasn't the one asking me to do all this stuff. Bonnie, the other people were the ones who were saying, no, Clem, you should go do it. You should go do it.
Yeah.
I mean... When we look at it, like when it was the truck scene, I mean, Kenny wasn't asking for much. I mean, like everybody's depending on this little girl. Hey, try and start this truck for me. Okay, I do that with my dad every day when I was like 12. Start this truck for me. I'm trying to fix something. All right, not working. Get out of here, son. Oh, that's my dad and my relationship with him.
Then again, it's if you're referring to Kenny. When she told off Clementine in the 3rd or 4th episode, and again now Bonnie doing the same thing, and they're both in a very dark place at that point.
Yeah.
So, as I've said before, emotions makes you rational and makes you think not at all.
Yeah.
You know, I think when I look back at it now, I think Luke was the one who kept the whole group together when we think about it. Like, he was the rational one, and everybody that liked the guy. That when he was gone, everybody was like, "We got to get out of this."
Everything fell apart. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, everything fell apart. So he was like, I guess you could say he was the belt to the pants. He was holding everything together.
Yeah. Well, even during the time when he got separated from the group in episode 3, when he was missing in action for a while, I felt a little bit of the group falling apart then too. So.